But I'm going to speak to all of those things today, and I've got them written down here for both of you. And like I said, anytime y'all interact, ask questions, comment, y'all know I'm an interactive person, so feel free to hop in anytime with what y'all want or what you need. So I'm definitely here for that. So definitely thank you, ladies, for joining here live in the room today on the actual call in the training. Thank you for everybody who's watching live on Facebook. And for those who are going to be watching this replay, I'm Biz Coach C, and this is the third in the series for the Road to 100K training. This Road to 100K training is really built and designed to help Black and brown women understand a clear pathway to earning six figures when they're entrepreneurs. If you are not a Black and brown woman, that does not mean that this does not apply to you, because you can use the same information to do so. There are just going to be some specific things that I talk about within these trainings that are carved out for those individuals to do it. But it is great information for anybody. So thank you, anybody who's watching and who's going to watch the replay also. But the people who are live in the room for the training are the real rock stars. Let me just say that, because they're showing up for themselves immediately without hesitation. So I don't take that lightly. And I appreciate LaWanda and Cheryl joining us today. So we're live in the Six Secrets group. If you have not joined the Six Secrets Facebook group, Six Secrets to Six Figures, I want you to make sure that you go and join that, because Road to 100K is just one of the series that's happening in that group. There are so many other things to help Black and brown women understand this pathway to six figures. And it's not all about the money. Six figures is really all about empowerment and how you can set yourself on a pathway to not just financial literacy and not just generational wealth, but also legacy and community. And if we're doing this thing individually, we have to be empowered to also do it collectively. And so that's what Six Secrets is all about. It's about the accountability partners. It's about the relationships that you build on this journey of entrepreneurship. And it's about leveling up in a way that you never have before. So with this being third in the series, I want everybody to understand that you definitely need to go back and watch the first two if you haven't watched them. That's the first thing. And they'll be uploaded on my YouTube page, because Meta isn't letting you keep things past 30 days anymore. So these trainings are going to be uploaded on my YouTube page, and they'll be accessible on my website for you to go back and watch. But now, this one today, building a six-figure brand. I wanted to kind of title this More Than a Logo and How to Build a Brand That Makes Bank. So I'm a 12-year business coach. You can visit my website, clsmgmt.com, to learn more specifically about me as a business coach. But today, while we're talking about this six-figure brand, I just want to say that this session is all about building up your six-figure brand. And no, it's not just about colors, logos, and graphics. I'm talking about an experience that people have when they see you. I'm talking about the feeling, the message, the identity behind your business that makes people say, I want to buy from her. I want to work with her. I want to partner with her. I want to know her. I want to invite her to my podcast, right? I want to be an affiliate partner with her. I'm going to refer her people because I feel like she can be dependent on. She's going to be high quality, not high maintenance, and not aloof and untouchable, but we're talking about high quality, able to provide solutions. Is your brand actually portraying that? So here's what you're going to learn today, right? You're going to learn about what branding really means and what it's not, how to build a brand that attracts the right people, and you're going to learn about the elements that create emotional connection and help you establish that customer loyalty. Now, why does all of this stuff matter? And I'm not going to try to use too much alphabet soup or jargon with y'all today, but just to break it down for you, it matters because people buy from brands that they trust. That's it. People buy from brands that they connect with, and people buy from brands that they remember. So trust, connection, and memory. Those are the three things that they're building on. A strong brand is going to position you as a go-to person and not just an option, because there are going to be several options out there. And I always like to teach my clients this. Whenever you ride into any town, how many gas stations do you see? Right? How many grocery stores do you see? How many hair stores is it? How many car repairmen is it? You know, garages, all that. How many car lots do you see with people selling cars? How many people live in one town that develop websites? How many live in a town, or how many people do you know that have event centers or 360 photo booths? And I'm putting these ladies on the spot that are in the chat right now that are actually live in the training, because I want to give you the importance of standing out in a crowded market and still charging premium prices, which is something that we kind of briefly talked about before we started today's training, is making sure that we're communicating that value. So let's start with the first thing here, which is the foundation of your brand message. So what we talked about, the brand, what is it really? It's going to be the feeling, that emotional response that people have when they encounter your business is super important, because if you think about it, you feel something when you're getting ready to buy something from a certain brand, whether it is happening consciously and you're aware of it, or subconsciously and you're not. Every time you buy something, there's a certain feeling that sparks within you that tells you this is safe, I can trust it, I can rely on it, so I'm going to put my money into it. The goal for us as entrepreneurs is to make sure that we inhabit that feeling, right? That we create a space around what we're providing as a product or service. We create a subconscious space to where people feel like, I've seen this brand enough and I know enough about this brand, or I can recognize enough in this brand identity to know that I feel good about making this purchase. So just know that your brand, first of all, is all about experience and feeling. And then the message is the next most important thing, because what you communicate about your value and your promise is everything. It's not what you say, is what?
What you do.
How is it what you, yes, what you do, definitely. But it's also how you say it. So there's a way that you're going to be able to come across the people. And Cheryl said something that's really important, is it's also what you do, because you can't just talk the talk. You have to be able to deliver on the promise. And so don't be so ready to elevate your brand, and don't boost yourself up and put yourself up on a pedestal that is unreachable. So you got to be able to have something for yourself that you can actually attain. And I'm not saying don't set high goals or don't set high standards. What I'm saying is make sure your message is portraying what's truthful about what you can deliver, because that's what's going to make sure, that's what's going to guarantee that your brand ends up being a trusted brand, right? Identity is the third most important thing. So identity is going to be your unique presence that makes people choose you over competitors. Now, out of all of those people that I said, that there are multiple folks in that industry, there are multiple other business owners doing some of the same things that we're doing. What makes us different from that? And or different from them? Not everybody's going to buy from us, and it's cool. We should not expect everybody in the world to be ready to invest in us. But what we should be prepared for is that we need to be attracting the right people, so that when they do come across us, that they do choose us. Because as a business coach, I'm not for everybody, right?
Right.
I'm not, there's certain types and styles of coaching that I don't do, whether it's because I don't believe in it, or it's just not my zone of genius, or it's not my area of expertise. I'm not for everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea as a business consultant. So, but I will attract the people who need what I'm putting out there, that I'm saying I'm putting out there. I'm gonna get on a soapbox for a minute and go off on a tangent. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Let me know if y'all ready. All right, in Facebook, y'all ready for me to go off on a wisdom tangent? One of the things that I have learned about being a business coach and experiencing this myself, and with a lot of the clients that I've served over the last 12 years, a lot of people are afraid to draw back and say, I'm going to pick a niche, I'm going to stick with it, I'm only going to serve this one population. Because a lot of us feel like when we go into it, we just want to help people, right? We just want to help people, and we want to make decent money while we're helping people. But we feel like we can help everybody, and that everybody needs what we're offering. When the reality is, there are some people that are advanced beyond the stages of what I provide as a coach. And so they don't need me as a coach. They need a coach that's going to be on that level with them, where if they're after 10 years, they've been in the game. I work with 0 to 5 years. Those people are not for me. So not everybody is for me. And that's okay. And that's part of my identity as an entrepreneur, is I know I'm working with people 0 to 5 years. Well, maybe I'm just a coach to help people who open salons, because that's what my area is. Or maybe I'm just a person who helps people open bargain stores, or open chambers of commerce, or do marketing, but whatever it may be, it's okay to say I'm only working with this group of people. And I had this discussion with somebody I met with last week, who's a new client of mine, and she's in healthcare and was trying to decide, what is it that I want to niche down in, because I know how to do so much. And I'm like, you know what? Put yourself out there in this one area, and I promise you, word will get out, and you won't be able to contain that you have other gifts and talents in other areas. So even though you're focusing on capturing one group of people, that's going to turn into that's going to really turn into people needing more than just what you offer at the time. Because if you're a really good service or product provider, if you're a really good entrepreneur, you're going to learn how to identify people's needs and try to find ways to fill them. And that's where all of these other things come in that you do. So you don't have to introduce them to all the faces of you up front. Put your strongest face forward, put your strongest assets forward, and claim that niche, claim that identity that's yours. And I promise you, it will not it's going to turn away who it needs to turn away. Not everybody's going to need you right then with the identity that you carry, and give them opportunity to come back to you later, because they may be able to afford you at a higher price later. So don't be afraid to let people walk away from what your identity is right now. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you're being rejected. And we hate feeling rejected when it comes to our identity, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's in personal or in business, we hate the idea of rejection. And sometimes, okay, that's my soapbox, but that's the soapbox for identity. And that's what happens is in business, we go through an identity crisis, right? Mm-hmm. And that's all it is when you start really tussling and wrestling with, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do this? And I want to help everybody, and I'm not going to be able to sell to anybody. It's identity crisis. So having a strong brand helps you do that. And if you're creating a brand that's going to be worth 6 figures, that's going to carry a business that's worth 6 figures, then you have to be confident in who you are, what you're selling, and what you're representing. And that brings us to the last thing, which you wouldn't think is last, but that's value. So value is that transformation that happens after somebody experiences you, after they experience your brand. Now, people who experience your brand are not always customers. Everyone who experiences your brand. So don't think that the only people that are really going to be limited to your brand are going to be people that buy from you. Everybody sees your brand. Everybody does. So those people who are in your niche or outside of your niche, and those people who kind of fell away from your identity, they still see you. They see your brand. They see what you stand for. And so what is that transformative presence or experience that you have with anybody that comes across your brand, and how consistent is that image? What does that mean? So it is a transformation definitely that happens after any encounter, but a real transformation in value is what happens with the people who experience it after they pay your premium prices. That's when your brand really kicks in. That's the truth about it. So the core elements of a 6-figure brand, let's talk about that. What are the core elements of building a 6-figure brand? Here it is. Your brand starts with what you say and how you make people feel. So the core elements are going to sound like this. It's going to be your mission, which is, why does your business exist beyond making money? If money was not involved in your business, and it has to be, or it's just a hobby and you won't survive, but take money out of the equation for a minute, because this is real purpose-driven branding here that we're talking about that's going to earn you 6 figures. Why does your brand exist just beyond the money aspects? What is it? And here's an example. Mine would be, I help women build wealth through entrepreneurship. So what does that mean beyond the price point that you're going to sell to them? What's your mission? And then there's your promise. Your promise is, again, what transformation can your customer expect after dealing with you? What experience can someone expect after they've been exposed to your brand? Whether somebody's talking about you in a boardroom where you aren't even present, whether somebody's reading one of your social media ads, and you can't imagine how they're interpreting what they read in their minds. You can only put it out there the way that you want to be perceived. But what's that promise? What transformation can your customer expect? Here's another good example with transformation. I help moms turn side hustles into 6-figure businesses. That's a transformation for somebody who's, and I don't know if your brain will automatically go to single moms when you read that, or moms that are in a 2-person household as far as the financial responsibilities go. But I help moms turn side hustles into 6-figure businesses. That's a promise on delivery. And then there's the voice and the vibe. So are you bold? Are you calm? Are you spiritual? Are you fun? Are you energetic? Are you edgy? Show up consistently with the same tones, some of the same visual context, consistency in the graphics that people see. And LaWanda can definitely attest to this when it comes to your website, is people love things that they can recognize because they connect to it. They connect to it so much. So make sure that your voice and the vibe is good and you've got good energy. It makes a difference. Come up with that tone, the visuals, and the energy. Keep it positive. Six-figure branding. And then there's the visual identity. So this does include your logo, your colors, your fonts, the imagery that you're putting forth. But those visuals have to support your message and not define it. So here's the point that I want to make. You don't want to create your logo and then base your messaging off of your logo. That needs to happen the other way around. Now, when you're first starting out as an entrepreneur, that gets to be challenging because you aren't really thinking about messaging at the time. Unless you're a real business savvy person and you've started businesses before, you don't think about messaging first. You think about representation and how you can get in front of people, because it's like the faster we get in front of people, the faster we can make sales, right? And so when we are new entrepreneurs, we are sales driven, we are product driven, we're service driven, we are revenue driven, but we have to step back. I want to implore you as new entrepreneurs, if you're in your first 5 years, I want to implore you to take a step back now before you get beyond the 5-year mark, because it gets a lot harder to do this after 5 years in the game. It's going to be hard after 3. But you still can do this after 5, especially if you feel like you haven't captured your full audience yet. And there's a lot more potential for you to expand and grow and be visible to other people. So work on those things. Here's an exercise that I want you to do. And this is going to help you. So if you're live on the call and you can write this down. Even if you're watching on Facebook Live, I want you to write this down. Because here's something you can do to help you with creating the core elements of your 6-figure brand. And there's just 3 things. I like to give you things in 3s. And here's the first question. What do I want people to feel when they encounter my brand? I want you to answer that question for yourself, and I'm going to drop it in the comments too. What do you want people to feel when they encounter your brand? Do you want them to be excited? Do you want them to take you more serious? Do you want them to purchase like a high-end product? Do you want them to purchase something low-end for you? So what is it that you want people to feel when they encounter your brand? Second thing that I want you to do, here's the second question. What transformation do I help people achieve? And think about that transformation example that I gave you, where I said, I help moms turn side hustles into 6-figure businesses. Or I could also say, like, part of what 6 figures is, I help Black and brown women discover that they can be wealth generators by creating, or at least by being entrepreneurs through entrepreneurship. So what transformation do I help people achieve? That's the second question. Third question is, what words are going to describe my brand vibe? What words describe my vibe? So you set the tone for this as the business owner, because one of the greatest risks that we take as entrepreneurs is putting ourselves out there. That's one of the greatest risks that we'll ever take, because like I said, sometimes that whole rejection thing kind of sits on us and we are not sure if we're going to be accepted, if we're not, what it's going to feel like if we aren't. But I will say this, don't take it personally. Do not take it personally. Even though your business is an extension of your vision, it is not a personal attack on you if somebody does not want to buy what you have. If they are forming that as a personal attack, then hey, let them have it, because it's not worth the time. Because as 6-figure owners, we do not have any business sitting and twiddling our thumbs and thinking about why somebody doesn't want to buy from us. Now, if that's coming back in large numbers and you're attempting to make a sale and large numbers of people are returning back to you, or large numbers are, like I was talking to our website expert about before our call started, if your bounce rate on your website is so high that a certain percentage of people is immediately kind of logging off of your website and going somewhere else after the first 5 seconds, then you really aren't making an impact with people, and you need to figure out what's going on there. But if we're talking about one individual where we may not be able to understand why that person, don't sit there, because that is not a valuable enough sample size for you to make a superior decision on. So we don't make, as 6-figure earners and as 6-figure brand owners, We do not make desperate decisions based on, uncalculated risk and things like that. So if it's not going to have that much weight on what you're doing in your business, don't waste your time trying to adjust your brand on the little things. Is what I'm saying. It has to be meaningful, powerful in order for you to look at, is my brand being represented well? And the sample size has to be more than just a couple of people, because you're exposing yourself to more than just a couple of people. I don't know if y'all have seen some of these TikToks that are like, if you've ever seen a stadium with 500 people in it, and then they show you a stadium of people with 5,000 people in it, and then they show you a stadium with 10,000, and then there's larger stadiums that hold like 50,000 people. I'm serious. Like, when you're exposing yourself on social media, usually about 5 to 10,000 people are going to see it and engage with it if you've got a decent following. And you don't even have to have that many followers. It just is in the algorithm. So that many people are seeing you. So that's the size of an impression that you're making whenever you're putting yourself out here as a brand owner. So just know that that's super valuable. And I'm checking for comments. I see y'all. Yay, what's up, MJ? So I wasn't on my phone before. So if y'all got questions at all, thank you for watching live on Facebook. If you got any questions, let me know. And I appreciate everybody that's still live in the room too, because I saw we had somebody else join us. Hey, Vanessa. Glad to have you with us today, sis. All right. And I know I said that this is going to be 30 minutes, but I started late. So y'all give me some more time because I got gems in here for y'all today. And yeah, and that's, you know what? That's what Vanessa calls the people in her group, is artistic gems, right, Vanessa? That's right. That's right. All right. So the second thing here is brand positioning, right? What position is your brand in? And we talk about brand positioning sometimes, but not everybody exactly understand what that means. So it really is all about you standing out in a crowded market. That's all it is. And there's a lot of markets now that are saturated and oversaturated. Some of that is due to COVID, because a lot of people were out of work during COVID and they took the opportunity to promote themselves, to learn how to use their own skills to start businesses. And so you have at least about 50% more businesses being started than what we experienced in the previous years, in the 5 years pre-COVID, than we do in the 5 years here that are post-COVID. There's at least 50% more business generation. And out of that, Black women are still the fastest growing businesses that there is. So that says a lot. So make sure you understand that Black women are starting businesses, and we're starting more businesses than any other race out there and than any other culture. And so hats off to Black and brown women. And even if you're not, hats off to you, because entrepreneurship is hard for everybody. It's not easy for anybody. But the thing is that, okay, one more tangent, and I'm going to try not to do another one. So we are, as Black and brown women, starting businesses more than anyone else. But the thing is that we're still only accounting for a small percentage of the earnings that come from that, because the businesses that we're starting as Black and brown women, we're averaging about $25,000 a year in revenue as a conglomerate, versus other cultures and races who are averaging over $100,000 a year in their businesses. So it is the type of businesses that we're starting that's putting us at a deficit before we even begin. And I've got some references that's going to be rolled out into the Six Secrets group about what type of business should you be starting to actually generate more revenue on average per year than what we've been experiencing. Because if we're going to see legacy change, wealth generation, wealth transfer, then the types of businesses that we're starting is going to have to morph into something greater. And a lot of that comes from us being able to stand out in the crowd. So your brand is what's going to set you apart. And if your brand sounds like everybody else's and it's dry and you don't have any meat on the bones, then you're just going to blend in. And we all know what blending in means. Blending in means it's everybody is seen, but nobody is seen at the same time. So blending is not going to make you a six-figure brand. I sat down and just scrolled through different social media channels. I took time one day. I said, I'm going to scroll through TikTok, see what I see. I'm going to scroll through LinkedIn. I'm going to scroll through Facebook. There are so many different, and I'm not even going to say the word different. There are so many people doing things the same way. Like, if you really sit back and think about it and just look at it, if you can find people in your own industry, I promise you, it's like you'll scroll through 10 people almost doing the same thing, almost making the same quotes, almost sharing the same photos. And if you are just passing along information without making it authentic and without making it relevant to your own brand, people are scrolling by it just like they're scrolling by the rest of them because it's not sticking with them. So you're not standing out in the crowd. So what I'm trying to say in short is trends are not always the best thing for you to follow, right? Something can be trending, but you better make it your own. And you better not just be sharing other materials. Like, you better figure out a way to make it your own if it's going to mean something for your brand and if it's going to make you that six-figure brand. So the keys to actually standing out as a six-figure brand is making sure you're niching down, like we talked about. Speak to one specific audience and don't try to talk to everybody. Don't try to talk to everybody. Talk to your audience. And give them a special name if you're in their communities. There are some audience I call in six figures. We've got a group. There's a book club group called Leaders Are Readers. When I greet them, I call them page turners. Hey, page turners, how y'all doing? Because those are the bookworms. If you're in BYOB, it's hey, CEOs, how you doing? Because y'all are bosses. You earn something. And I talked about Vanessa a second ago. You know, she calls hers gems when she speaks to the people that are in her groups. So niche down. Speak to those people. Because I guarantee you, if you're not talking to them, they may walk away from right now. But one day they may come back and say, I want to be a gem. I want to be a CEO. I want to be a bookworm or a page turner, and they'll make their way back when it's time. Don't be scared to niche down. Be loud. Be loud and be loud about what makes you the best and what makes you the best fit. It's okay. It's not that you're intentionally trying to be over competitive. So promise me that you're not going to guilt trip. You promise? No guilt trip. All right. Pinky promise. Everybody hold your pinky up. Let me see. I'm not going, Cynthia, I'm not going to go, thank you. I'm not going to go on a guilt trip about promoting myself. It's okay. I know that I'm worth that value, or my brand is going to be worth that value soon. So I'm going to toot my own horn about what I know I'm capable of doing. Overextending ourselves? No. Confident? Yes. And then fulfilling on promises all day long, because that's what we do as six-figure earners. Create signature offers or language. Make it special for people. Create signature things for folks. So own your own method or framework. My group coaching programs, Hustle and Grow, Six Secrets, BYOB, own it. Pick a nickname for yourself. I'm Biz Coach C. Own your own method. Claim it. Claim it. Put it out there in the atmosphere. Talk about it. Share it. And share it with consistency. So be consistent everywhere. On your website, your social media pages, on your products. I just helped somebody design product labels, one of my clients, for some health and wellness products that they have. Same voice, same color, same promise, same look. There's consistency, so it's recognizable. And she stands out in a crowded market. Mini assignment. Y'all ready? Because I swear I love to give y'all stuff to do for no reason. I know y'all got all the time in the world. Nobody's busy. Nobody's busy. Y'all don't have anything to do. All y'all got to do with your time is sit back and do these assignments, and the world just stops turning. I know that's what it is. So I'm getting ready to give you this mini one right here while I pull this back up on my phone, make sure I don't miss anybody asking any questions or anything. All right. This assignment, this mini assignment right here, is I want you to pick one thing about your brand and rewrite it to clearly communicate what you do and who you do it for. If you're in Six Secrets, I want you to share it in the Six Secrets group. Be bold. If you're watching the replay, share it in the comments, but pick one area about your brand. Is it going to be your logo? Is it going to be the messaging? Is it going to be the recognition that you get? Is it going to be your tagline? Is it going to be your bio? Your bio is part of your brand, your personal bio. All right. Is it going to be a website banner? Do you have a Facebook cover that you want to improve? I want you to pick one area where you have your brand right now, and I want you to rewrite it or redesign it where it clearly communicates what you do and who you do it for. Now, after you redesign it, it's only going to stay with you until you share it. And you don't want it to stay with you because you need to expose that. So you got to shine a light on it. Come back to Six Secrets, share it in the group. Share it with some trusted friends. There are chat groups in Six Secrets. If you don't want to put it out there in front of almost 300 members now, find a chat group to put it in. So share it with somebody after you do that. That's your mini assignment. All right. That's what I want you to do. And it's going to be good for you when you do it. And it's going to be hard in the beginning. You might be kind of nervous or whatever, but I want you to do it anyway. Because when we're uncomfortable, that's when we're growing. That's when we're progressing. That's when we start getting better. Start getting uncomfortable. Just know that you're headed in the right direction. Don't stop.
My dad's account, not my
Your brain is a safety mechanism. And there are some highly intelligent women. Y'all are highly intelligent women here in this room learning right now. There's intelligent women in the group. But I'm telling you, when you start facing this, it really challenges you because your brain is going to say, let's go back. I don't like the way this feels. Let's go back. I don't want to do this. Fight your brain. Trust me. Fight your brain on this. And go forth and keep doing it anyway. If you need reassurance, reach out and say, hey, Cynthia, Cindy, Biz Coach C, or like you want to call me like my family used to call me Cabbage Patch, whatever it is. Just reach out and say, hey, I'm not feeling good about this. Should I keep going? Should I not? Most of the time, I promise you, I'm going to tell you 99% of the time, I'll be like, nope, keep going, keep going, keep going. Because we want to stop when we get to about 40% of our potential and we think that we've exhausted everything that we have. We stop at about 40% because we get tired. We get uncomfortable. We feel stretched. So we stop because our brain is like, that's not safe. You need to go back. You're going to lose everything. You're going to risk something. You're going to hurt yourself or you're not going to accomplish what you, Tell your brain you're getting ready to stretch your faith a little bit and work it just a little bit more. Push, press that thing, press it, press it, press it. I want you to push until something happens. Make that movement until something happens and something will break eventually. It'll either break in your mind within you where something will trigger and a light bulb will turn on, or it will start breaking in the community that surrounds you and you'll start getting feedback and you'll start getting engagement and interaction. So it's going to break somewhere, but you got to stick with it to do that. Here's how your brand is going to convert. Here's how you attract the right people and retain them. You have to allow your brand not to just be sexy. We want a cute brand. We want to dress it up. We want to doll it up. We want to make it nice and pretty and cute for everybody. I want you to get ugly. I want you to get real ugly with branding and be able to push yourself and cross limits that you had before, right? That's how branding converts. People who change the world are not people who play it safe. I can guarantee you that. So people who break barriers and go from 3 figures a month in their business to 4 figures a month, those people are giving it time and effort that they never have before. When you go from making 4 figures a month to 5 figures a month, you're giving it all you got. I promise you, and you're pushing yourself beyond what you were already doing because insanity is expecting a different result, but having the same actions taken over and over and over. So we cannot do the same thing and expect a different result. We are insane if we do that. And it's also insane to stay where you are and know that you won't better for yourself. So you have to push yourself. And here's how you create that branding. It gets ugly. It's very strategic. So it's not cute, it's strategic. And a strong brand doesn't just get likes. So don't feel like because you don't have enough likes on that post that you aren't getting seen. A brand that converts, you will see sales. It's just as simple as that. You will start seeing the money. But here's how you do that. Here's a conversion formula that I'm going to give you. And it includes 5 things. Your conversion to get to 6 figures is going to count on authenticity, clarity, social proof, visibility, and connection. Those are the 5 things. Authenticity, clarity, social proof, visibility, and connection. These are the 5 things that build a 6-figure brand. And this is, I promise you, this is how I did it. 6-figure earners that I talk to, it always boils down to these same 5. Authenticity, people want to buy from someone that is real, not someone that is perfect. You are not out here to try to perfect your processes from the beginning. It does not work like that. Everybody has to start somewhere. Starting hurts. Starting may make you feel like I'm getting ready to be very embarrassed about what's getting ready to happen, and I have to decide whether I'm going to do it or not. Starting looks like and feels like fear. Starting looks like I don't know if I can maintain this, so I've got hesitancy. Your authenticity is going to come out in that. Be real about it. If you were afraid to start, I've seen several people just in this past week to say, hey, I'm going live on IG for the first time, y'all. I have never done this before, but I'm trying it. That spoke volumes to me, and it made me stick around on that live a little bit longer to say, what you gonna say? What you got to say today, since this is your first time on there. Whereas if it would have been somebody that was reading off of a script, right now I have somebody in my LinkedIn comments on one of my posts. I know it's straight off of ChatGPT when they're responding to me, because it's the way it's worded, and every time they respond to my comment, it adds like a similar question at the end of what they comment. Like, so people know. Like, people know we try to dress it up and hide it as much as we want to. People know when we're being authentic or not. So be real, not perfect. Just be real. And it is what it is. Chips fall where they may. Authenticity is the first part of that formula. Second thing is clarity. Be clear in your message. Be clear in it. You don't have to overword. And I struggle with this because I'm just a thorough person by nature as a consultant, because I like to dig deep. So sometimes I'm overly thorough in the wrong places, and I have to reel myself back in with my little invisible fishing pole. But just be clear in the messaging. Very short, very sweet, very simplistic. Be clear in it. Make it easy for people to understand. It's going to beat out all of the acronyms and the clever wording and the big words all the time. Like, nobody wants to sit down and read 26 letter words when they're reading our posts, and like, it's too many paragraphs. It's too much wording. Have your message clear. Keep it short. It's gonna override. Sometimes it will even override the image that you put. It's just the message behind it. Make it clear. Third part of it is social proof. Your reviews, testimonials, client wins. Show receipts. Young people today, Gen Z, call it receipts. Like, if you can't produce receipts, we don't believe it. And if you have any doubt about it, I don't know if y'all been following what's happening with was happening with Blake Lively and the guy that she just did the movie with. Like, he came out with so many receipts about their text messages and all this kind of stuff, but like that's how he saved his character. That's how you're going to save yours, right? That's how you're going to prove that you have a 6-figure brand. You got receipts for what you can do. So that social proof matters. Don't be afraid to show the receipts. You got to put it somewhere. Put it in social media. Write up case studies, have case studies written up for yourself and the way that you've helped people, so that when you have somebody else that you're trying to talk to sell your product to, you can easily say, oh, go here to my website and read this about this case study, because this just happened. Or this just happened like a couple of months ago or last year, or I had a client do this, or I had a client do that, or this customer was so satisfied with this dress, or whatever it is that they're doing. Social proof is everything. People want receipts, give it to them. Visibility. You have to show up consistently and not occasionally. And this is hard because it requires discipline, right? Discipline requires a schedule and focus and concentration. What are we lacking these days that technology steals away from all of us? Our ability to concentrate, our ability to focus. In 5 minutes, I'm like gone. If your video is over 2 minutes, I ain't trying to do that. Not unless I'm familiar with you and I know that you're carrying value and you've already got an established brand. Like, I'll sit on Vanessa and Lawanda's trainings for like, I could listen to them for an hour or two, because I know that they're bringing me value with what they have to say. And I'm learning from that. But I will say that visibility has just got to be there. You got to be showing up, and you got to be showing up in a way that they're used to seeing you. If you present yourself as a new person every single time that somebody's introduced to you, they're going to get quickly unattracted, because people like familiarity. Familiarity breeds trust, right? Trust, when people trust you, they'll open their wallets. That's what trust does, right? When people trust you, they'll refer you to other people. When people trust you, they'll return to you again. So familiarity breeds trust. So make that visibility consistent. Connection is the last thing. If people cannot connect to you, they probably won't be back unless they just stumble upon you in an algorithm somewhere. So you want to use storytelling, because what happens with people psychologically, where they make the decisions to actually make purchases, what happens psychologically is they connect something to you that's already there. And that attraction could stem from anything. It could stem from childhood. It could stem from relationships. It could stem from work. It could stem from their children. You know, people are out buying for their kids. People are out buying for their moms, their dads. They're out buying for themselves. They're doing whatever they have to do for their specific reason, but everything they're doing is based on a connection. It's based on emotion, and it's based on experience. So having that connection is something really strong, really strong. That's the conversion formula: authenticity, clarity, social proof, visibility, connection. Work on those 5, because when you perfect them, then you're well on your way to 6-figure branding. and earning. So brand building touch points that drive sales. Here's the thing about your brand bringing the money in the door, right? Here's the real touch points that's going to drive a sale for you. Strong Instagram bio and link page. So if you think about this, any social media that you have, it has to have a really good introduction, because people who are really interested in purchasing from you, they're not just going to stop at a post. They're usually going to visit your profile because they want to see more from you that they want to connect to before they decide to make a purchase. So always remember that the people who are in your target, you do want them learning more about you. And you want to keep these touch points very visible and keep them a part of your funnel, because that's how you drive sales. If you want to learn about funnels, that's different training. But that's it. Have a strong social media presence. Your bio, the content that you're posting, the visuals, they should instantly communicate your vibe. So anytime I see you, I'm like, oh yeah, that's her. Oh yeah, that's him. I know them. I'm familiar with them. I know what they do. Familiarity brings trust. I'll say it again. Have a lead magnet that creates real value. And lead magnets are things that draw people to you. This is the attraction aspect, right? So you've got your presence, and now that they're on your page, you want to get them locked into you. So if we talk about locking in, we're talking about offering people something that they can actually use is going to provide a real solution. Not just something that you feel good about that you created that's free, that you think people want, but actually taking feedback from experiences that people have had with you, creating and packaging that into something that they can take and make it usable in their world. So offer a freebie if you can, or a very low end product or low value product that they're not spending much on, that's going to showcase you and set you up as a go-to authority for what they want. You want people to become fans of yours, and you create fans by providing something of value that they can actually go back and use and say, oh my gosh, that worked for me. Oh my goodness, yes, that works. I can do that. I need some more, and I'm willing to pay more for the next time I go back to get it. So set that up. Set yourself up as the go-to authority for it, right? Email welcome series. Oh my goodness. Emails are amazing, and they still work, because you may not get sales directly from emails, but what you do is you create touch points. Statistically, someone has to come in contact with your business 19 times before they decide to purchase. 19 times. That's why it has to be consistent. And this is why email is helpful, because if you have a platform where you can create emails to automatically use AI and to automatically go out to these folks at repetitive times, they may not even open your email, but they see your name in the inbox. They see the topic, the subject of the email in the inbox. You are a presence to them. They see you on social media. They see you in the email inbox. They see you on TikTok. They see a video. They think you have a YouTube channel. They're visiting your website. Just imagine 19 touch points. What would make it easy for me to get in front of people at least 19 to 20 times, where I don't have to spend all my time and energy doing this, but my brand produces it for me? So email is a great way to tap into that, especially with new people that find you, new subscribers, people who are new visiting your website. It's only going to reinforce why they're choosing you. That's all you want to do when you think about these touch points. Client experience is the last thing that I will talk about here. Your user experience is everything. And user experience on your website is like a gravitational pull. And LaWanda definitely knows this for sure. She just taught it yesterday. Your user experience is everything, every interaction, from onboarding to visiting the site to delivering the product. It should feel cohesive and a premium experience. People need to feel like you're over delivering. They need to feel like you're over. And to you, it may not feel like that. You're not going to say that. Don't you put that out there. But people should feel like you're over delivering to them all the time. And if you are really a great entrepreneur and you want to see real results from your branding, you will make it a point to make sure that either you are over delivering, or you're on the verge of it, or you give a great image of over delivery once you're doing it. So one trick that I use to help y'all with this is that you extend the date, right? So if I'm saying I can have this delivered to you in 5 days, my personal goal is to have it to you in 3. You're expecting 5, but I'm going to have it to you in 3. When you get it as the customer, oh my God, I got this 2 days early. You know what I'm saying? Deliver, over deliver. Give the imagery of over deliverance every single time as how you build a 6-figure brand. All right. A client who rebrands with consistent visuals, a clear promise, and a powerful message can increase their impact greatly. And I do mean greatly. And you can increase your sales by at least 40% in a month just by having better visuals, improving your visuals, improving the clarity on what you promise that you deliver, nailing down a niche, and having a really great message. You can increase your sales by 40% in 1 month. You consistently do it. Now, it may take you a couple of months to get there because it takes time for people to see things. It takes time for people to see you. It takes time for people to even decide that they're going to respond. So don't forget those 19 touch points that I talked about. But you have the potential right now to increase your sales by 40% if you learn how to implement these things that I'm teaching you, because smart people will get on these lives, they'll watch the recordings, they'll go on YouTube University, they'll look up they'll look up information like this, and they'll watch it, and that's good. Brilliant people will go back and implement it. And extraordinary people will not just implement it, but they'll go back and they'll evaluate the results and they'll continue to improve a long time. So are you smart, are you brilliant, or are you extraordinary? You get to decide which one of those individuals you're going to be. So as I get ready to close this thing out, real results from branding, let's talk about it a little bit more. Yeah, you can increase your sales by 40%. That's no lie, because that's what I actually did. This is the average growth for strategic rebranding. If we're talking about you don't have a brand established and you're establishing a new brand, you really don't have sales like that yet, expect a great start to where you are. Now, a great start looks different for everybody. It could be that you're pursuing more engagement, more visibility. Whatever your goal is for your brand, you can expect that to be a strong start if you start out using these tools that I'm going to give you now. If you already have a brand and you're trying to improve where it is, you can increase your sales by 40%. You can increase your engagement here, which is the level of interaction that people have with your brand voice. You can increase that by 68% if you do the things that I'm doing with you today. Now, one of the things that I hadn't talked about is connection beyond just the customers, but we're going to touch on that in a minute. Right now, we're just going to stay on customers and I'm going to tell you that 3 times premium pricing. Sometimes you will find people who are out there willing to pay you 3 times more than what you thought. Then this is what a stronger brand can command. So if you think about what you're charging now and you think about targeting the right type of client, you can typically increase your prices because the demand is going to be there. When the demand is higher for what you're offering, then you're able to increase your price. Now, if you don't have much demand, you may be enticed. You may feel pressured to lower the price because in our minds, we visualize, and this works better in economies of scale, like for Walmart, larger corporations, places like Amazon and things like that. So when you're working with economies of scale, on that scale, you want to sell more so you can make more and you can increase your profitability, right? It doesn't necessarily work like that with small businesses and when you're in entrepreneurship. So decreasing your price does not always equate to greater demand. Sometimes, and most of the time, decreasing your price also means decreasing the value that you're offering it at, or at least the perception of value in someone's mind. And they start thinking of it as cheap and desperate instead of I'm dropping the price on a quality product so more of you can have access to it. That's not the way a customer thinks, not by any means. If you drop the price, I'm thinking, what's wrong with it? That's how customers think. Like, why is this discounted? Think about when you walk in a clothing store, something's on a clearance rack. What's wrong with it? Is something wrong with it? Is it out of season? Is it not valued? Did not enough people like this to want to get it? And sometimes you don't care because you really like it, you want to get it anyway. But that is very few people. Small business works the same way. So don't equate price drops or price decreases to that resulting in greater demand. It does not work like that. If you have a lot of people requesting what you have, then it means that it is very much of great value. And you need to look at increasing the price on it because it could be that over delivery starting to reflect in your sales. And when that over delivery starts to reflect, then you can actually give yourself room to increase the price a little bit by a small percentage. Now, I can't tell you exactly because that depends on your business and your situation. And we have to have a one-on-one for that. But a powerful brand isn't pretty. Just remember, powerful brands are profitable, not pretty. Profitable, not pretty. These numbers show what happens when you get intentional about your presence online. Now, I've been in the game for 12 years with my consulting business, and I can tell you that the results that I experienced getting a 6-figure business did not happen in a year. This stuff took me more than a year to perfect. And so I'm not saying that you can do this in 2 months or 3 months. So please do not take this as that. Now, if you're ahead of the game, you can very strongly accomplish this within a year, but you have to be really dedicated to the process to make this happen. And you have to be really determined to capture the information you need, take what you learn and implement it, and then come back and evaluate all the results that you're getting along the way. It's a pathway, right? It's an entire journey to this branding thing. Your brand building needs an action plan. And that's where I want to kind of leave you all today with everything that we're talking about is what happens next, right? What happens next now that I have these tools for building a 6-figure brand? A powerful brand is going to do the talking for you. So y'all remember that. It's going to bring you leads. It's going to help you close the sale. It's going to help you build that loyalty and trust so they'll come back again and increase their customer lifetime value, the amount of times that they come back and purchase over time. So, and this happens even when you're not online. Branding is a 24/7 thing. So whether you're physically and you're presently there with your brand, it's going to happen whether you're there in person or not. So just remember that a brand happens. Your brand is there all the time. And it's all that people see for your business. They don't have your product or service sitting right in front of them as something shiny for them to base an opinion on. Their brand is what they're basing their opinion on when they see it. Their opinion of your business. Don't take it personal. It's not of you. So it just starts with being intentional. Your intentionality to actually put who you are out there and make sure that's reflected the way that you would want it to be is how you show up. So key takeaways for today is your brand is going to be that emotional and visual experience that you give your audience. Consistency plus clarity equals brand power. Be consistent, be clear in the messaging. That's the power behind your brand. That's the horsepower. For my daughter, for my 19-year-old who's getting ready to graduate early college with her associate in arts and her high school diploma. I'm so proud of Elizabeth. Her father and I, we got her a car for her birthday. And I don't know if we're going to regret it or not because we got a Dodge Charger, y'all. So Lord help us. I'm like, be light on the accelerator, baby. Be light. But it made me think about horsepower when we said that. We made sure it's a V6 engine, so we wouldn't be having to fill it up gas every single day. But so it's a V6, but there's horsepower behind that. So if you liken your brand to a vehicle, think about that consistency and that clarity being the horsepower behind that engine. Now, we don't want your brand being a V6 engine. We want your brand running on octane. Your brand definitely needs to be a V8. We want you putting diesel in that sucker and make sure that you're outrunning competition out there. Sometimes you don't necessarily need a rebrand. What you need is a real brand, right? So there's rebranding, and we talk about it all the time, but that doesn't mean that you have to change everything that you're doing. You just need to make it more real. You need to make it more tangible. It needs to be more digestible. It needs to be more savory. You can add a lot of things to your brand to make it real. So don't think that rebranding means I have to change everything. I just have to make it more real. All right. So my CTA here for you today, for those in the room with me, those watching on Facebook, I want you to drop at least one word in the chat or in the comments that describes the vibe of your brand. Give me one word before we hop off of here that describes your brand. At least one word. What's one word that I can vibe? I feel like if I looked at your brand, how would you want me to vibe with it? What's one word you would give me? And while you are giving me that one word, don't forget what we talked about later. Is I want you to post, choose that thing. You had a couple of assignments, but one of them was to choose something in your brand, whether it's your tagline, your Facebook cover for the Facebook page, or whether it's the logo that you want to redo. Think about one thing that you want to update for your brand. And I want you to come up with how you want to change it or how you want to reword it, and then get feedback on it. So drop it in the 6 Secrets group and let's see what that is. Brand statement in the group for feedback. And if you need help, I want you to schedule a free branding consult with me. These things are just 30 minutes. And we quickly uncover, we do a deep dive into your brand, and we can quickly uncover what it is that's going on with your brand, where you feel stuck. How can we get you unstuck? And let's do some brainstorming together. And so I'm going to be posting that link in the Six Seekers group. So anybody who needs to schedule a free branding consult, you will have the space and opportunity to do that. If you feel like you know someone who needs this training, make sure you forward it to them. All right. I want y'all to give them the good stuff. And I see one word. I see upbeat. Yes, I love that. We want your brand to be upbeat, Vanessa. I see it. And so, yeah, share this live. Share this training with somebody who needs it on building a six-figure brand. Empowering. Yes. Got to be empowering. I love that word, LaWanda. So thank you all for joining me here today. Just remember, if you want people to remember your name, buy your product, and recommend you to other people, it starts with building a brand that feels like you and speaks directly to them. So let's get out there and let's make it unforgettable. That's the best way that I can describe it to you. Get out there, make yourself unforgettable. Join the group, visit my website, cellismgmt.com for more free training like today's, and to see all of the other trainings that are going to be on my YouTube page, including this one. But thank you all so much. So much. You know, I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to all of you becoming six-figure earners. And if I can help you on that journey, I would be super excited to do that. I'm praying over your businesses, and I hope that you are all blessed. Y'all take care of yourselves, and I will see you next training.